On March 11, 2011, the ocean rose up and swallowed entire towns along Japan's eastern coast. The mathematics of the event are difficult to process. Waves reached 55 meters, or 180 feet tall. Out in the open water, those massive swells traveled at 700 kilometers per hour, roughly the cruising speed of a commercial airliner. The tragedy for places like Sendai City was a matter of timing. Residents on the coast received their evacuation warning a mere 8 minutes before the water hit. Those 8 minutes cost over 15,000 people their lives. The water crippled the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, triggered a multi-reactor meltdown, and inflicted a $235 billion loss. All of our modern predictive technology and advanced sensors failed to buy the people of Japan enough time to escape. The speed of the disaster left the country vulnerable. In response, Japan initiated one of the largest coastal engineering projects in human history, a continuous 15-meter-high concrete seawall spanning 400 kilometers of coastline, carrying a price tag of over $12 billion. Seawalls are a standard feature of the Japanese coastline, but the previous iterations, which stood up to 8 meters tall, were pulverized in 2011. The force of the water ripped them right out of the bedrock. This raises an obvious question. If history has repeatedly shown that no structure can permanently hold back the Pacific Ocean, why spend $12 billion to build another one? Japan sits directly on the most volatile edge of the Pacific Ring of Fire, where 90% of the world's earthquakes occur. Since the threat is constant, the logical solution is simply moving the population further inland, but the topography makes that impossible. 70% of Japan's landmass consists of steep, uninhabitable mountains. That leaves a meager 30% sliver of flat, buildable surface area. To house 125 million citizens, grow food, and build industries, the population has no choice but to densely pack into flat coastal zones beside the water. Because retreating is mathematically impossible, extreme engineering is their only path to survival. Following the 2011 disaster, engineers fed the exact wave data from the destruction into physical hydraulic simulators to redesign the wall from scratch. To prevent the wall from being uprooted, the new foundation plunges 25 meters deep into solid bedrock. Above ground, the wall features a pronounced curve. Rising water is forced into a U-turn, crashing into the oncoming wave to break its own momentum. This defense starts long before the water hits the main wall. Engineers placed massive interlocking concrete breakwaters offshore to absorb the initial shock of the surge. This integrated, multi-layered machine is designed specifically to dismantle a wave's internal mechanics. On the ground, this feat of engineering comes with a heavy psychological toll. In several towns, the new walls reach 4 stories high, completely severing the local communities from the ocean. Residents look out their windows to a towering slab of gray concrete. Many locals have complained that they feel trapped inside a prison, and business owners fear the loss of their coastal tourism economy. It is a grim compromise, trading a deep cultural connection to the sea for a structure that might not save them from the biggest storms. Here is the paradox of this $12 billion project. The Japanese government acknowledges that this wall is only guaranteed to hold against a level 1 tsunami, the kind that occurs every 50 to 60 years. If a once-in-a-millennium level 2 mega tsunami strikes, or global warming amplifies future storms, engineers know exactly what will happen. The wall will be overtopped. They are so certain of this that they've built a final failsafe: tsunami mitigation parks. These dense tree lines are designed to act as giant strainers, catching heavy debris like cars and boats as the water floods inland. Japan deliberately spent $12 billion on a barrier they know will eventually fail to keep the water out. The underlying engineering logic treats the wall as a massive friction device. Its function is to take a violent, high-speed impact and grind it down into a heavily resisted, slower flood. By forcing the ocean to struggle against the barrier and lose its momentum, Japan has purchased the critical minutes thousands of people need to run for their lives.